Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm talking to nobody. I clicked the wrong button. Thanks, Fallen. How about now? I need to do that like Verizon commercial, right? Or was it Sprint? Who was it? Can you hear me now? I forget. All right, so midterm review today. Hydration. Yeah, thank you. Uh-oh. I got my water cup. Actually, forgot to bring my coffee mug up to my desk. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Um, so I hope you guys had a good break. I got my COVID shot on Monday of break, which had knocked me out flat. Like all of Tuesday, I wasn't feeling great. Some of Wednesday wasn't feeling great. So I didn't get as much done over break as I was hoping to. So I'll be sure I'll get your quizzes in, work on those, so you'll have them graded before the midterm on 310, and then we've got midterm review today. So the midterm is open book, open notes, open internet. Use your resources, but not open neighbor. Okay. So I'll get that. Yeah, I'll have that in. The midterm review or the example midterm sample, whatever it was from last semester, hopefully you had a chance to look at. I think I posted that the week before we went out on break. So the plan is just to go over that today. And then if you have other specific questions, it can definitely take a look at them. So I think we talked about the format of it before already. Right, it's going to be 15 quiz style short answer kind of questions, and then 3 programming questions, right? One on loops, one on files, and one on methods. Right? And then I've got the review document out here we can go over. So it does have a 2-hour time limit, so once you hit start on it, right, you'll have 2 hours to hit submit. Okay, so just quiz style questions in here, and then 3 like more programming. So here's like one about files. Here's one about methods. We don't worry about the classes one I said, remember, because we hadn't gotten there yet. We've only gotten through methods. So here's like one on methods, here's like one on files, and we'll have another one about a loop that asks you to do something in a loop. Okay, so questions about midterm practice? What's going to be helpful? What do you guys want to talk about? Or we can just go through them. And then don't forget, there is study group today at noon. The midterm, you don't have to take it from 10 until noon on Wednesday. I'm going to open it up, and you can take it pretty much anytime you want to start Wednesday. I think I set the due date on it here. Let me make sure I set that right. Yeah, so it will show up at midnight on March 10th, Tuesday. And I said as long as you get it in before Thursday, March 11th at 11:59 p.m., we're good. So anytime Wednesday or Thursday that you want to take your 2 hours, you can go for it. Okay? So again, just that it's 2 hours from start to finish. As long as you get it in before then, we're good. So that hopefully will give you time to take it when you are most active. I'm not much of a morning person. I hate taking exams in the morning. So if you are a morning person, great, take it in the morning. If you're an evening person, take it in the evening. If you got a chunk of time in the afternoon, go for it then. All right, so I think I got all that set up right. Let's take a peek at this example, and we can go from there. So let me fire up NetBeans. Right, and the idea, it's open book, open notes, so just know where to go find the information. Right? Hopefully you're reading along every chapter. The chapter quizzes encourage you to do that, but you don't have to memorize what's in there. Just know, hey, if the question is about, hey, if it's about a do loop, let me go look up loops. Let me go find that in chapter 4, that sort of thing. So just know where to find your information there. Is that the right one? Which one is this? Still loading. That was, yeah, okay, that was 2151. That's what I thought. So let's start up a new project for our class here. Let's do 1500. Some midterm review. Man, knows it's a Monday. It's going slow. I guess I haven't rebooted in a while. All right, here we are. So midterm review. And hopefully that means, or you understand that means there is no lecture on Wednesday. I have no plans on streaming. Just set aside that time for you folks to do your midterm. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. I think the true-false ones should be easy. If you have questions about those short answer ones, let me know. Let's jump right into the programming ones. So like our question on files here. Okay, kind of like a two-part question. See if I can't copy-paste. Nope, copy-paste is not working very well. That's okay. So ask the user to enter file name. So I'm just going to take some notes here. All right, so we'll say ask user for file name, and then enter 5 names, write those to the file, 1 per line. Write 5 names. Ask user for, user for 5 names, write file, 1 per line. Then ask them to enter another file name. If it exists, ask them to enter a number. Okay. Ask for another file name. If exists, ask for number 1 to 5. And then print name at that line. Okay. All right. So ask them for a file name. So we're going to need, if we're using some input here, a scanner, probably keyboard, so that's what Mr. Gaddis does. Sure. System.in. And we'll ask them for file name. Enter a file name, please. Or, sure. Enter file name. And yes, we want to import scanner. Yes, please. Do you want the link to this or copy paste the code? Either's fine. If you want to put it into your GitHub and then commit the link, or enter the link, that's fine. Or if you just want to copy paste it in, that's okay too. Whatever's easier for you. Doesn't matter to me. Okay, so we asked them for a file name. Great, then we need to open a file. Right, so we need a print writer. I don't know, file writer or something. A print writer equals a new print writer given the file name. Oh, we just need to import that file name, right? So a string for file name. We're done. Next line. Right, let's just take whatever they give me. And then we'll hand that off to our print writer. Yes, we want to import print writer. And yes, we know when we do this, bad stuff could happen. So yeah, we want to tell Java, yep, we'll just pass the buck. We throw as an exception. Okay, and then if we're going to do something 5 times, hopefully you're thinking to yourself, oh, let's do a loop. So for int name is 0, name is less than 5, name plus plus. Please enter a name. And we'll have a name is keyboard next line. And then we'll write it to the file. So print writer dot print line. Okay, if we do print ln, it'll give us 1 per line. Should work out nicely there. Okay. Why is it unhappy with us? Oh, we already have a name? Why is it unhappy? Variable name. It's already defined. Oh, up here. That's my name count. Of course, of course. So we'll call this one name count. Okay. So we'll get 5 names. We'll write them to the file. And then we're done. Remember, you need to close the file. Remember, we open, we rewrite, and we close. All three things. Three: open, read, write, and close. Okay, we're good there. We'll ask them for another file name. A file to open or to read. Sure. And we'll get it. So this is a string, I don't know, another file name, or we can just change it here, file name. Just keep using the same variable if we want, keyboard.nextLine. And now we need to see if it exists. Remember, this was a little bit trickier. This we had to do with a file. We need to make a file object. File is a new file, sure, given the file name. And then we can ask file if it exists. Oops, we need to import. Yep. File dot exists, right? We can say if the file exists, then we can go do something. Okay, if it exists, then we'll ask them for a number. So, number 1 to 5. And then we probably want an integer for this, right? So we'll have an int, I don't know, line number is keyboard.nextLine. And remember, you can't just use next line because that gives you strings, so we need to convert. So we're going to use integer.parseInt to convert that. Great, now we have a line number. We need to print the name at that line number. Right, so now we can do a loop, right? We can say for, I don't know, current line. Current line is 1. Current line is less than the line number, I guess, or I don't know, maybe. We could try that. Line number, current line, ++. And maybe less than or equal to, right? Because we want to have that match. Could do that. We need to read the name. So we can have a string for name. And name is, now we need the file reader here. So we use scanner file reader equals a new scanner given our file. Right? If you hand a scanner a file, it can go read it. So file reader dot next line. Sure. So this will get us the first one. If we ask for 1, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, hopefully it's right. I mean, it's not. All right, I'm not loving how I did this one here. Let's change this. Let's change that. So we'll say while we'll have an int current line is really 0, I guess, and then while file reader dot, remember we use has next to see if we can keep on reading. As long as we have next, then I'm going to take current line ++ file reader dot next line. We'll say name equals. And then we can check. We can say if my current line is equal to the line number, sure. We can print the name. And then we're done. Make sure you close the file. Okay, does that make sense how we're trying to read just the specific line number here? I was going to use that other loop, but this is probably more proper. And that way, like if they enter, you know, current line, or if they want a line number of like 100, our loop is going to stop. We're not going to print anything because there was no line 100 there. Probably a little bit safer to go about this way. Okay, well, that's all. Put the name of that line. Cool. Here, I'll cut that out. Okay, how does this one feel? So again, the goal, right, there's 3 of those questions. Again, if they take up to half an hour each, again, I think that took, what, 10 minutes for me to do there. So I tripled it for how long it might take you. So with the 3 questions, if it takes half an hour each, you've got an hour and a half, and then it leaves you half an hour for the other 15 questions. Does that feel all right? So it's a tiny bit of code, but it's nothing huge, right? Just a small little task with a couple steps. Okay. Should we try it? Right? Always try it. Definitely. Make sure it works. All right, file name, names.txt, sure, enter a name. How about Adam Bob, Chris, Dan, and Eric. All right, names.txt, sure. How about line 5? Then we get Eric back out. Okay, that looks good so far. We could try it again and give it a name that doesn't exist. Guess we didn't really have anything here in an else. We just said if it exists. I didn't ask for anything else, so names.txt, A, B, C, D, E, and something else. We get nothing back out, right? Because the file didn't exist. We just give it some gibberish. It's looking good. Okay. All right, how about this method, guess a number 1 to 10, that asks the user to guess a number between 1 and 10, ensures they pick a valid number, then returns the number. Write a method, random number checker, that accepts a number to check, generates a random value 1 to 10, prints the results. User guessed too high, too low, or guessed it correctly. Okay, so guess a number 1 to 10. Let's try that. So we'll add a method. And this is going to return something, right? It's going to return the number. So it's a returning type method here. So it's an int, not a void. And again, all of ours for now are just going to be static, and that's fine. We'll talk about more about that next week. But again, guess a number 1 to 10. Okay, so we need to ask the user to guess a number. Guess a number between 1 and 10. Here, and we want to keep on doing this as long as our number is invalid. So I'm going to say int number is something that's not valid, and I'm just going to do a while loop. Well, number is less than 1 or number is greater than 10. Right? If we're less than 1 or we're greater than 10, both of those cases are invalid. And we're going to keep on guessing. And again, we can have our own scanner here if we want. Don't feel bad about copy pasting right now. That's okay. And we'll have our number is integer .parseInt keyboard.next line. Okay, and then it's going to check if it's keyboard. There we go. If it's not less than 1 and it's not less than 10 or more than 10, that means this will be false, right? So like the number 1 is not less than 1 and it's not more than 10. So they're both false. So the whole thing stops, and then we're done. We can return number. We're just using this little loop as a validation loop. Again, so we don't get away from loops just because it's a methods question. Right, we're still kind of using a loop here. That's our guess a number 1 to 10. Okay, and then what is it? The other number, the other method said random number checker. And then this one just prints the results. So this one sounds like a void method. It's not returning anything, it's just printing something. We'll do a random number checker. Like static void random number checker. Now this one though, right, accepts a number to check. So we need an argument or a parameter here that's the number to check. So if you need to check a random number, you need to tell me the number to check. So I'm going to use this parameter, this argument, inside my method here. So we need a random. So then we have an int for random number. And next int, and then we want up to 10 plus 1. Right, because remember, random next gives you up to, but not including this number. So I'm going to get 0 to 9, and then 0 to 9 plus 1 gives me 1 to 10. Right? What next int does not include number. So add 1 to 10. Okay? And then we can check, right? If our random number is equal to the number to check, we can print out, you guessed it. Else if the random number is less than the number to check, maybe it makes more sense to flip those around, but that's okay. So this means they guessed too high. I think most people do it the other direction, right? They check the number to check if it's greater than the random number. Then we would say too high. And if it's not that and it's not too high, it's got to be too low. right? We don't even need to do another if. If it didn't match and it's not too high, it's got to be too low. Right? Too high, too low, or guessed it correctly. Okay? Now that's it for that one. And we could try it, right? Make sure our method works, hand the result of that to this and see what we get. Sure, let's try it. So let's do all of that before we do any of this stuff here. We'll call guess a random number, 1 to 10. So we'll have an int for number is that, and then we're going to call our random number checker given the number. Right, and that's it. Let's try it. Uh-oh. We didn't do it. Give me some output. Let's try that again. All right, it's getting messy. Why? Okay, I never set that compile on save thing. And it worked like the whole time up until now. There we go. Now it's building stuff. All right, now, okay, guess a number. How about 11? Nope, 0. Nope, 50. Nope, okay, between 1 and 10. How about 7? No, 7 was too low. All right, cool. Again, we could run it a bunch if we wanted to get too high, too low. You guessed it. We could do it a bunch of times. Sure. See if we can actually guess a number here. Maybe we'll get lucky. 7's too low still. Try it again. 7's too low still. Oh dear. 7. Okay, now 7's too high. Okay, so we're getting some different results. Right, 1 out of 10 of these ought to be 7. Too low. Too high. I don't know if we can keep on running it, but too high. Yeah. Sure. Or we could cheat, right? You put a breakpoint in here and then run it in debug mode. We can cheat. Okay, so over at my output, guess a number, we'll get 7. And now here we are. So we're waiting here, right? We got the green line, we're waiting. We're going to see what our random number is. So in variables, it says the random number is 9. So I'm going to go over here to my number to check and change it to 9. Okay, so you can actually change the value of some variables while you're in debug mode. And then we'll step. And now we guessed it. Look at that, we're so smart. We guessed it. It must have been 9, we knew somehow. Okay, yeah, that's it for that one. And then we're not doing the files, or the class question. It'll be a different one. So 1 on loops, 1 on methods, and 1 on files. All right, questions, thoughts, concerns? That's all I had today. Just I wanted to show you those ones and then just open it up to questions. 1500. Put out the midterm review. Excuse me. Yeah, it's supposed to be really nice this week too. The weather, I'm really excited. It's warming up. All right, any other questions? Hopefully this all made sense. I know we've been flying through the semester already. It seems like time just keeps going faster and faster. But we are more than halfway through the course now. Let's see. Yep, this is week 9 of 17-ish, 17 and a half, 16 and a half. So, yeah, a couple more chapters after this. We got 5 more to go. Right, so we've covered 5. We got 5 more to go. Halfway through the material. A little bit of miscellaneous, and then working on that final project. Should be a lot of fun. Don't forget, Project 3 is still out there as well. Right, Project 3, not till March 22nd. So we still have some time on this one. Wanted to make sure it wasn't like in the way of you doing that in the midterm and everything. So it gives us 2 weeks from today. Cool. So we can talk about it more next week after the midterm if you have other questions about Project 3, but that one's coming up as well, okay? So keep that in mind. Let's go back to the schedule maybe. All right. If that was it, then we can call it a day. Take this time. Don't forget to go study. We do have study group today at noon, and then Wednesday at noon as well. As you might as well double up on your studying there in study group before you take the midterm. If you don't want to take it early in the morning on Wednesday, that's cool. And I think there was a methods quiz. Did I post the methods quiz? The chapter 5 quiz? I think I did. Yeah, the chapter 5 quiz. I put that one out till March 12th, just so you had lots of time on it. That's not due till Friday. You probably want to do the quiz before you do the midterm, though. Okay? And I'll work on getting the rest of these graded. I'm sorry I got so slow on these ones, so I'll work on those today, and we can go from there. And I do have my regular office hours throughout the week. If you guys wanted to schedule anything, or book a slot, reserve it, just shoot me an email or a message, find me on Discord. I can go from there. All right, awesome. So if you guys don't have anything else, we can call it an early day, spend some more time studying or working on the project, whatever you guys want to do, or take that chapter 5 quiz, start on that. All right, we got some time. We'll call it good then. Ooh, that was fast. If anyone else is around, we can go bother. Yeah, the first one, for sure. That the first true or false. Let me go find it here. Was that a question on classes? I feel like it was a question on classes. I think we were a week ahead last semester. I don't know how that worked. Maybe because we didn't have the Monday break for MLK Day. Let's see. But yeah, when designing a solution to a problem, attributes of a noun are potential private instance variables for a class. So this is true. It's related to a class, so you won't see this on your midterm. Sorry, because we're off by a week, or half a week, or whatever it ended up being there. So yeah, this one was true. Highlighting is terrible. Sorry. Yeah, so if it's about classes, feel free to ignore it, or just ask me. I'll be happy to tell you. I think the other ones... yeah, this is about classes as well. This one's false. It can, which is fine. But again, you're not going to see one like that. Yeah, so this was from chapter 1, right? Just about object-oriented programming, switches, multiple arguments. Yep. Numeric values, yeah. Loops, that's the for loop, right? Ints and doubles, yep. This one was about classes, and this is true, but just about classes. Yeah, variable naming, yep. Okay, so just a couple there on classes that came in this one. Sorry about that. Cool. All right, we'll call that good. Let's see. Oh, we should see if we can bother boring math professor. He's always lots of fun. Not boring, as you might think from his name. we'll head over that way. Everyone say hi if you want. Again, just part of the fun of Twitch, and we can go from there. All right, folks, take care. Again, no lecture on Wednesday, so reach out if you have questions. If not, I'll see you next week.